Hello and welcome to HyzerMedia's coverage of the 2022 New Jersey State Championships driven by Innova. Today we are at Stafford Woods and this is stop 11 of 25 on HyzerMedia's coverage tour this year. This coverage is brought to you in part by our Patreon family, so thank you to them and thank you to you for joining me. I'm Dave Oster, here to bring you today's coverage. We have an awesome star-studded card today. Starting off with the none other than Michael Johansen, MJ, with a scorching 15 down first round at Tranquility Trails. Not to be outdone, Matt Bell also with that scorching 15 down. Bringing up third on our card is McLaughlin, only one stroke off of that lead. And rounding out our card is Chris Villa with a nothing to laugh about 12 down at Tranquility Trails, setting up an awesome round here at Stafford Woods, and we will start on hole 1, par 3, 309 feet. There's a straight gap where you have to go completely straight where we see the drone flying, or a little bit of a wider backhand hyzer to try to come in the back door. And like we said, MJ Michael Johansen will be getting us started. Goes with a nice flip up, doesn't quite flip enough, catches that left side tree. It does keep pushing a little bit forward, so he'll probably be within 100 feet. So here, up second is Matt Bell. Looking to make the correction from Michael a little bit further to the right should be fine. And Matt actually taking that right side backdoor gap. Well, it looked like he might have kissed the tree a little bit, kicked it outside of circle 2, but pin high, so he'll probably have a long look at it. And here is McLaughlin, like we said, one stroke off the lead after the first round at Tranquility Trails yesterday, finding himself on HyzerMedia's lead card. The lefty backhand slow right to left drift, right up into the circle. Great shot by Bo. That's how you want to get started, especially after MJ and Matt aren't in position for birdie. Put yourself in there, try to tie it up early. And run out the card, Chris Villa. It looked like he turned it over just a bit too much. Catches something, he'll be right side. But luckily this hole is short enough, he should be able to get up and down for his par. Good upshot by Michael. Definitely don't want to be finishing this hole with anything higher than a par, because we see even from out of position, you'll probably be able to find something to get yourself up onto the green, as we see Chris do a great job. And here's Matt for probably a 50-60 footer for his birdie. Oh, couple inches low. And now here's Bo with the best look for his birdie. And gets it in there. Great start. Bringing it to a three-way tie for the lead. As the rest of these guys will tap in their pars. Moving over to hole 2, par 4, 509 feet. I want to thank our sponsor for the drone coverage today, is Iron Hill Brewery and Restaurant. Off the tee, you want to throw a backhand, which is going to be drifting left to right. Try to get all the way up through here. If it keeps turning, it can get some big distance getting over this log. Most drives are probably trying to land around here. Set yourself up for a second shot through the gap we see the drone flying through. Try to land on the green for your birdie. That play might be a little bit different for Bo, as he has the lefty backhand lined up here. Sets up a little bit easier to hit that gap, but with something getting stable, might be difficult to get all the way up and follow the shape of the fairway. He does catch a tree and catches early, but being a par 4, he'll still have a chance to get up and down for a birdie. That was looking good. Just needed to get between that one row of trees in the middle of the fairway, get over to kind of that secondary fairway, and it was turning to the right, so that was looking good. Matt Bell also catching one of those trees in the middle. Definitely not a easy tee shot. It's a unique shape. It kind of needs to fade to the right, then straighten out, then fade to the right some more to get towards the basket. Obviously, that's not something discs typically do, but players trying to do something to accommodate that fairway often makes this a very difficult hole. It is playing as the 6th most difficult at almost a quarter stroke over par. Oh, is Matt Bell able to skip his forehand over that log and setting himself up for another long birdie look. MJ a little cut off, finds something sneaky, and gets to the corner at least, so he'll have another right side of the fairway look at getting up and down for his par. Again, this sets up a good shape for Bo's backhand, and he takes advantage of that, leaving it maybe 15-20 feet for his birdie. Chris looks like he's far enough up there that he actually has a line to try to sneak through, cut the corner, but I think he got caught up, so he'll have probably something from in the woods to try to get up to the green to save his par. And a beautiful turnover by MJ. Probably blind from where he was standing, throws a perfect angle, flattens out, slows down right on the green. So, this is Chris. Barely see him on the catch cam. But up and over, and he's on the green. Maybe a little obstructed by that tree, but he'll have a look to save his par. And this is Matt for his birdie. Just a little high. Just sit. And yeah, that should be fine for Matt. And here, Bo with, again, the best look for a birdie on the card.
Oh, I pushed it.
Oh. See the frustration. Having this opportunity to take the lead this early in the round. And goes quite a bit past the basket. He's going to be, yeah, having a difficult comebacker and not able to get the height. And I believe that is Matt behind the tree. Able to save the par. So, Bo was tapping in his bogey, unfortunately, giving that birdie right back after starting off tying the lead. And now Chris and Michael should be finishing up their pars. Ooh. Little kick to the side, but it does stay in. Michael thanks the basket, and we move on to hole 3. Par 3, 313 feet. One of 2 water carry holes. On this course, players are going to be trying to hit this gap that the drone is flying through, most likely. And then right over this hill and try to slow it down. This log is often useful on the left side, and we are going to the blue higher basket. Looking good for MJ. Oh, maybe a little bit too stable. He'll still have a look from in the circle, but that might be 25, almost 30 feet for him. And Matt also looking like he's getting something pretty... Oh, and catches an early tree. He did get over the hump, so he's not within circle 1 or 2, but he's on the dance floor, as they say. He's over the hill, and we'll have a look at the basket. This is looking pretty good. Something more like you want straighter, less stable disc will push towards that basket. And both throwing the backhand turnover, catching an early tree. I believe that did stay out of the water, yeah. So now we'll have a forehand up and through these trees and just trying to get it close to safe as par. And he does just that. So for the third hole in a row, Matt Bell with a long birdie look. Oh! Oh! And into the bottom basket. Unfortunately, they're not playing to that one. So that is, it's parked. It's no penalties, no nothing. He'll just mark his lie under there and tap in his par. A great putt by MJ to get the birdie, starting off on the board, extending his lead over Matt. And Chris also on the board. He was pretty much parked for his birdie. Good par save for Bo after hitting an early tree. And not something you get to see every day, but Matt Bell will be marking underneath the basket and tapping in to the top one. Definitely an interesting short and long basket layout for this hole. But nonetheless, we'll move over to hole 4, par 4, 546 feet. Off the tee, you just throw in a hyzer, something flat with a hyzer finish, trying to just get as much distance on this open fairway as you can. A couple of strange undulations on the left side and a rough on the right side that you want to avoid. From there, you pretty much have another flat to a little bit of hyzer shot into the green. A few trees guard it, but once you get past there, it is wide open. So you just have to get there and give yourself a look. And this is looking perfect for MJ. Little hyzer, keeping it right in the middle. And that will do. Chris taking a little wide, but has enough stability on it. Needs to stay out of that rough. Maybe right on the edge there, I'm not sure. It didn't kick back out. Matt taking a little bit higher, giving the disc time to fade back out, and perfect bounce and roll right back to the middle of the fairway with decent distance down the fairway, so making it an easier approach for his second shot. Forehand for Bo, but same exact line. Looks perfect. Yep. Pretty good grouping from these four guys. I'm pretty sure even Chris is out of the rough, so all four of these guys should have similar approaches into the green. And this looks maybe a little high. Oh, it gets under those branches. And pretty good. That should be a routine putt for MJ for his birdie. Oh yeah, Chris, plenty of room. Not even having to think about that. Goes a little lower, a little flatter. Oh, actually goes around that one guardian tree to the much smaller gap, but lands on the backside of the basket. He'll have a similar length putt. A little bit of a gallery out here. As the round goes, it will get a little bit bigger, you'll see. Pretty exciting to see these pros all on a card here in Jersey. Great forehand by Bo, by the way. Rolls it right through the puddle and is the closest so far. Oh! And Matt may be trying to take advantage of his short upshot. Trying to maybe give the basket a little bit of a run, and this is the... Oh. That is the risk that you deal with running the basket, is you're going to have a longer comebacker. So Matt going to have to settle for the par after maybe giving it an eagle bid. rest of these guys are pretty close, so should have just a couple more tap-in birdies. And Michael extends his lead over Matt by 2 strokes, and his lead over Bo now as well, tied for 2nd place. And Chris, with this putt, should be just 1 stroke back from them, so staying pretty tight with plenty of golf to go. As we move over to hole 5, par 4, 611 feet. Again, I want to thank Iron Hill Brewery and Restaurant for sponsoring our drone coverage. You see the stakes on both the left and the right side marking the out of bounds. Players just have to stay out of there, obviously, but the sloping right to left makes it difficult for the right-hand backhand, as the disc tends to carry far after skipping off the ground. So trying to either spike it in there hard or even throw the forehand to counter that is the play. And then from there you just have to find a gap through the trees and up to the basket. MJ going big, high, wide hyzer. Trying to do exactly that, is just spike it in and keep it from skipping too far. Chris looking to match that, and he goes a little bit lower. This needs to sit. Oh, and it does. Thick, lush grass, definitely helping. If there's a right to left wind on this hole, it is almost impossible to get the disc down and have it stay down. Oh, and this is drifting towards the out of bounds. Oh, and just stays in. Last second kind of starts to fade back in. So that'll be just fine for Bo. And Matt Bell throwing a little bit higher and more stable shot, making sure it goes back into bounds. But certainly a scary shot for both backhand and the forehand. Throwing over out of bounds for a long way. And great shot by Bo, getting through those trees, skipping and rolling up to maybe 25-30 feet. Giving himself a look for a birdie. This looks a little too straight. It might come in the back door, but catches the tree. So MJ probably just going to have to pitch up and down to save his par. And almost an identical throw. Strange ground reaction. What I was going to say is we covered Matt Bell for the Stafford Open last year here, and he had an almost identical throw where it skipped and hit off the top of the basket. If you haven't seen that, go check out our coverage of the Stafford Open from 2021. A lot of highlights from there. But back to today, Chris Villa with a pretty good backhand shot gets through and actually past the basket. And now we see MJ maybe going to give this a bid. Yep, not bad. That was a pretty good run. Nice floaty bid. If it missed, as we saw, it didn't go very far, but obviously also could have gone in. So Matt having circle 2 or further putts almost all day so far. Not able to connect on any of them yet. And great putt by Bo, bringing him to within 1 stroke of Michael. This would be Chris, his birdie as well. And now he's tied with Matt as well, so keeping it close, everybody within 2 strokes of each other. Matt and MJ tapping in their pars. As we move over to hole 6, par 4, 571 feet. OB on the right side. There is actually OB far on the left side, but it's hard to actually find that because of the trees. Pretty much just trying to get as much distance as you can, keep it in the fairway. Left side is preferable, as the gap to get through all these guardian trees is the biggest. As we'll see, that's where the drone is going to fly. Second shots, you're approaching this beautiful built-up green. This is probably a 12 to 15 foot high pyramid style built up green. These players are either going to try to hit the base and have a very straight up putt, or if they are close enough, they may actually try to get on top of one of the layers. So we'll see. Chris, alright. Catches trees but falls down back in the fairway. He was heading towards that, kind of the only place where you don't want to be on this fairway. And Bo looked like maybe he put a little bit too much turn on that at first, but good stability disc. Comes right back to the middle. And MJ throwing pretty much an identical line, a little bit further left. It looks like he got a lot more glide out of that disc. It is downhill, so if you get something going, it can keep carrying for a while. Good flip up for Matt, and wow, this is huge. This is probably 150 feet further than anybody else. He'll again have one of those 100-foot or so upshots, but obviously this is a more difficult green to run than most. Oh, Chris hit the only tree need to miss. But from there, it should be a pretty easy up and down for his par.
Oh my goodness, golly gosh.
And Bo had a good shot shape to get through that gap. Pulled it a little bit left, but it looked like he's right up to that base, so he'll have a putt at it as well. MJ throwing another great turnover and gets right to the base. It does kick off a little bit, which is one of the risks with hitting, you know, a plank of wood like that. And Matt going for the top, almost stays on top. The back side of this green is not as steep if you go kind of straight back as we saw. So he'll still be up there for a birdie look. And Chris barely falling off the backside as well. Should still be close enough for his par. And great shot. MJ able to card the birdie from maybe 35 feet away, but almost as high as it was far. And Bo also making the birdie. These are not easy putts. They're far, and it is higher than it even looks on camera. And these guys are making it look easy. Oh, and Matt almost making it 3 for 3. Just off right side. So here's Chris for his par save. And just off a little bit. Maybe afraid to go past and fall down. Luckily he did stay up top. But that will be a bogey, bringing him back down to 14. So things spread out a little bit after hole 6, but we're moving on to hole 7, our second water carry hole. This is the same little lake, but maybe more of a threat of going in the water for this hole. Only 300 feet, but basket just near the shoreline with this retaining wall, which is basically a trampoline kicking your disc back into the water if you hit it. So players are trying to obviously get over that and try to give themselves a look. And this looks a little right. Misses the retaining wall. So Bo is safe on that right side. We'll see exactly what kind of look he has there in a minute. And this is a beautiful shot for MJ. Actually calling for it to go down. And there you go. Right by the circle one.
Yeah, that's what I'm clapping
Little
for.
flag.
That's a great job.
And disc almost hitting our catch cam operator, but players giving a little applause for getting out of the way. So now Matt Bell up, going with the forehand. Maybe just more comfortable with the forehand and the little backhand turnover. It's not a perfectly straight line. And that was turned over a little bit. It does stay safe, so he won't be getting a penalty stroke, but he is still on the short side of the pond. And this is a little low, but it's to the left side of that retaining wall, so that should be fine. And yeah, great shot, closest of the group. So Matt actually landing in a pretty good spot and hitting just the base of that little tree, keeping him pretty close. That looked like it might have been sawed off a little bit, but he should be right there for his par. And another great putt by MJ. As we saw his disc, he was outside of the circle, so call that a 34-footer. Chris just a step or two inside. That needs to sit. Okay, and it does. So that's where Bo ended up. A couple feet from the edge of the water. Maybe obstructed by these trees. And also making a great putt. So 2 holes in a row. MJ and Bo able to make pretty impressive putts. And separating themselves from the rest of the players on this card. Matt taps in, and Chris might still have a little bit of work to save his par. Actually, he's just a few steps away. Sometimes it's hard to tell with these elevation changes exactly how far the disc is. But Chris, no problems. A little upset that he missed a couple putts in a row. But we will move over to hole 8. Par 4, 467 feet, straight line off the gap. Tunnel shot, pretty much. The play is usually a skip shot, trying to hit the ground right around the corner, skipping up somewhere around here to give yourself an approach through most likely this line, maybe a little inside, maybe a little outside, depending where you land. And the ground does actually slope down towards the basket, so controlling your speed and ground play is important. And a little kiss off that corner, barely making it around, but Bo able to execute it pretty much perfectly after that. That's the ideal landing zone. MJ taking it a bit wider, traditional play there, and beautiful. That's great, right in the landing zone you're looking for. So Matt gonna try to match that, most likely. A little lower, but very similar line. And perfect, right there. These guys are all within 15 feet of each other. Let's see if Chris can match them. A little lower, a little inside. Sneaks through and ends up pretty much in the same exact spot. If it wasn't for the last tree taking maybe 5 or 10 feet off, it would have been perfect. Chris looked like he caught a tree. He'd probably still be outside of circle 2, unfortunately. And yep, there you go. Matt, knowing that the ground does start to slope down, we can actually see it on the camera here. That's how severe it actually is. Hitting the ground early and letting it skip up. Both throwing the turnover. Oh, catching an early tree. It'll be maybe 40 feet. I'll have a look at it. And MJ pretty close. He's right near that short basket. Oh, and he hits the cage. Almost rings up the eagle. Take another look at it. That was tracking pretty much the whole way. And misses it by maybe an inch. Incredible shot by MJ. So now we see Chris here having to stretch out away from the tree. This is his 3rd shot. And he nails it! Great shot by Chris. Hit the tree on his 2nd shot, keeping him off the green, but still able to card the birdie. He probably just wasn't having it after the last 2 holes. barely missing a couple putts. Said, I'm just going to make it. I don't care where I am. So, good shot by Chris. Bo missing his par putt. And now has a maybe even longer comebacker. And barely chaining out. So, that's going to be a double bogey, most likely. Actually, still not that close for Bo. Okay, he does make it. So, unfortunate double for him. And the birdie for MJ. So, 3-stroke swing after a 1-stroke lead that MJ just had. So, stretched out his lead a little bit after that hole, but still quite a bit of golf left. Hole 9 is a par 3, 301 feet. Very tight line. It's the backhand turnover, maybe a forehand for some of these players. Shapes well for Bo's backhand, but it's not quite a normal backhand line. It's kind of extended turning. It's not a corner you're trying to get around. As you see, these players aren't really able to get through too easily. This is usually one of the most difficult holes on the course, and today's no different. Playing close to a stroke over par, quarter stroke over par.
Yeah, Bill. Great job.
Chris actually able to get through there all the way, and he'll be on the green for a birdie look. And Bo's left-handed backhand maybe shapes the best for the shot shape, but takes it just a bit too wide. So Matt off to the right side, trying to make something happen. Just low, a little bit past the basket, but that should be an easy comebacker for his par. Now Bo pretty far on the left side, trying to manufacture something through these trees. And does it perfectly. Good save by Bo. So MJ did get most of the way up there. And again, maybe giving a little half bid, but making sure it's not going too far past. Very smart play. And Chris with the best shot for a birdie here. Clinks it off the top band. So apparently Chris only wants to make it when he's 70 feet away, because when he's inside of that, the last 4 or 5 holes, he's having a little bit of trouble. But he's still right there, only a stroke out of second with both Matt and Bo. And MJ with a 4-stroke lead after 9 holes for this final round. And as Chris comes over to tap in his par putt, that will do it for us on this front 9. Thank you all for watching. We'll take another look at some of these highlights. Pretty good round, exciting golf. So like I said, a lot of star-studded players here. Love to see it. Love having them on coverage. And thank you to D-Town Disc Golf for supporting today's coverage. That will do it for us on the front 9. I hope you will join us over on the back 9. We are headed over there. So we will see you on the next hole.